Hello, hello. I am Pretty Bird.
P.
And together we are Pretty Sweet. Welcome to Pretty Sweet Distractions, where we speak unfiltered about life, love, poetry, and prowess. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the distractions in the form of open discussions on artful words. We do have a few itty bitty rules. We are grown up people talking about grown up things using all the grown up words. So if you're easily offended, this may not be your bouncing tea bag, cup of tea, or whatever floats your boat. We like to have fun, poke fun, and generally have a great time. So if you're down to be distracted, come hang out, chat, call, like, follow, share, leave your opinions on our opinions, click all the hearts, and show us some love. We have live streams every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. So tonight's show is I'm sorry, but here it is. Sorry, not sorry. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry, but in my defense, apologies do not come with disclaimers or explanations. Some apologies aren't looking for accountability, they're looking for absolutions. So, why is sincerity so hard to come by when saying, I'm sorry? And before we get into our lively discussions, let's say hello to Rack and Tor. Hello, hello.
Ooh, me?
Yeah, you. Hola. So here is the thing, or many things, or all the things. Who the fuck knows? I talk out my ass. Who knows what I'm going to say next? Um, I am very much of the mind that, as a grown ass adult, if I'm going to do something that may have a certain set of consequences, I need to be prepared for the possibility of said consequences before I take said action. So if things go sideways and go south, somebody accidentally gets butt hurt, whatever it is, that is fully on me. I made the choices. Now, apparently, I am a unicorn. Okay, because you know, it's not even that most of the people that I know are so toxic that they're like, well, I'm sorry, but you didn't let me know that you actually wanted to eat that last piece of cake, and I didn't figure that just because it's your birthday, I should save it for you because you didn't say you wanted it. So of course I ate it because it's a party. Bullshit, right? And oh, hold on a second. We have somebody joining us. I am so stinking excited. Hey bud, how are you? Hello, hello. Budo. They're teasing me. They're teasing me.
They are.
Well, pop in and say
Look what?
hi whenever it comes in. I think it's having a loading issue, which sometimes it happens. But we've got Budo with us, so yay! Um, oh, and
But
so
on us how to get loaded.
OMG. So I mean, I'm not against the loads. I'm just saying. So here the problem that I have is that most of my people aren't that toxic, right? They just are absent-minded. They don't consider possibilities before they take the action. So you get overlooked, you get, oh, well, I didn't think it would be a problem. No, okay, I call bullshit. I will call bullshit 100% of the time because grown ass adults don't get to be grown ass adults by not knowing that actions have consequences. They just have a sense of entitlement that they don't give a shit what happens. So if they play stupid, then it's not their fault. And I will 100% call bullshit. I was like, I am so sorry. I don't care if you didn't think that my relationship was that serious that you decided to sleep with my boyfriend. That's not on you because you didn't know. You knew he was my boyfriend. You did it on purpose. I feel some kind of way. I'm not wrong for feeling some kind of way. You're wrong for being an asshole, you know? But I didn't know and I didn't think it was serious and I didn't know you were exclusive. No, you didn't ask. Because here's the thing. This is why when my youngest couple of kids were still in Boy Scouts slash Cub Scouts, the leader, oh, how we butted heads. Okay. Um, I was leader of the Cub Scouts, they were leader of the Boy Scouts, and we kind of met at the same time in the same place and all the things. and they are full on, fake it till you make it, full on. um it's easier, and this is where it gets me because I have black and white lines. Okay. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. Sweetie, that's called a lie. That is deliberate deceit. That is manipulation. That is not honesty. That is not um any of that, you know? So if you're going to do something and know that you're going to have to say sorry for it later and you do it anyway, that makes you a full on gaping anus, you know? Oh, I am so sorry. No, you're not, or you wouldn't have done it. Well, if I asked you, you'd have said no. All right. So therein lies the choice. You chose to do it knowing I was going to feel some kind of way, knowing we had discussed it previously. And I said, no, you want to do what you want to do as an adult. You are entitled to do what you want to do, but those things have consequences. And so I don't abide by, I am so sorry. I will take you out to make up for, you cannot make up for lying to me. You already lied to me. You already lied to me. You told me you weren't going to go. And I'll give you one. And it's funny because hubby's in the kitchen. So I'm going to bring this shit up from a million years ago. Here is the unfortunate truth. All I asked was two things the day before my wedding. So we had, he was hanging out with one of his friends that came in from out of town. They were on the wave run, all the stuff. I was like, wear your sunblock. Don't be out too long. All the stuff, right? Because we have pictures tomorrow. So they were out way too long. He's full on beet red, like his entire face is going to peel off. I'm pissed the fuck off. We go to the rehearsal dinner and we're barely talking. And he knocks on my door at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm supposed to be beauty rest, right? Knocks on my door. I never got the drinks. So he was his one wedding task was to get all these cases of sodas, right? All the things enough for 75 people. And he had months to do it, he didn't do it. So this is back when Walmart was open 24 hours a day, and I'm all pissed off because he's sunburnt and he's going to look ridiculous in the pictures, and I only asked for the one thing. I didn't say you can't hang out with your friends. I didn't say you can't do this. I didn't say you can't do that. I said, please, please, please wear your sunblock and don't get too much sun because I want to have nice pictures. And then come to find out he never bothered for months to do the one thing that I needed him to do for the actual wedding. Oh, I was livid, so livid. So we're in the car and we're headed over to the thing, and I stopped him. I said, listen, if you want out, just tell me now. I said, if you don't want to marry me, I don't want you to go into this tomorrow and be miserable. If you want out, tell me. I'd rather you just tell me to my face than play all these stupid games. And he looked at me scared shitless. He's like, no, you know, that's not, I'm so sorry. And I had to sit there and freak out a little bit internally about what I think is going on. Because why would somebody do that? Knowing that I have anxiety, knowing that I had to make all of the favors, I had to make the freaking tablecloth for the cake table because it was a weird shaped table. I had to do all of the things. And he had one job. And I'm just like, I don't. And then his sister comes up to me, you don't have to marry him, right? He's kind of an asshole, right? And I'm just like, that's not fucking helpful. So you have to reevaluate things because adults are supposed to be able to make adult decisions. Actions have consequences. But I mean, I did choose to marry him because, I put in a lot of time training that one. But there is poor Bud. I don't even see, he's like here, but he's not here. Like there's no way to I can't, there's like no volume for him. Like it's not fully loaded. So I see you there, Bud, but I can't do anything. I don't know if your microphone is, well, see, if your microphone was off, it would say muted, but I see you. So, what do you do? There's a difference between people that are clueless, that nobody's ever had to hold them accountable to things, or that they've never done anything so egregiously stupid, or that if you spend a lot of time being single, it takes some customization or you have to be accustomed to thinking of somebody at least as much as you think of yourself, if not more, and that's a huge learning curve. Now, by this time, we were together 4 years. That curve had long since passed, so he knew better. But I don't know how to let people get away with things. I will make excuses. I will. I'm like, oh, they must be having a bad day. Oh, well, they're going through a lot. Or, oh, well, maybe I wasn't clear because I'm so used to everything being my fault because I was raised with everything being my fault. Um, because my sister was fragile, my brother was sickly, and there I was healthy as hog. So of course everything was my fault. And because they couldn't yell at the ones that needed more. Also, middle child, I'm just a mess of different
Maybe the
neuroses.
sunblock was expired.
hmm Maybe it washed off in the water, but so I'm good at looking for reasons why when I care about somebody.
Oh,
But when those reasons why start feeling like excuses that I make and nobody takes accountability, I only have so much bandwidth before I'm like, all right, and then I just expect less. When I expect less, it's a really quick jump to expecting nothing. And when I expect nothing and I'm better off doing things by myself, which is my whole entire life, by the way. I mean, 99% of everybody, I'm just like, well, I'm tired of asking. I'm just tired of asking. When you host a dinner and family comes over and all these things, what do you want me to bring? Oh, can you bring some sodas? And they bring freaking wine and nobody brings any soda. I'm like, I don't drink that shit, but I'll have tap water. It's fine. You know, like why ask me? There's just I feel some kind of way about all these things. They're like, well, it's not that serious, and that's another thing with this. Well, I'm sorry, but they're like, why
oh,
are you upset? It's not that serious to you. It's not that serious to you. You obviously don't give a shit, or you would have done what you said you would do. It's serious to me, and I told you it's serious to me, and you decided to say, I don't care because it can't be that important. If it's not important to me, it's not important to anybody. I've got friends and family that very much I can't with that. It's not that serious. Yeah, the fuck it is. Or it's not that deep. Sweetie, I have thicker skin than you, and I'm telling you it's full thickness. You know? Well, I didn't mean it that way. Fair. But that's how it landed. And now you get to deal with the aftermath. Are you going to apologize for ripping the skin off of somebody unintentionally? Because if you don't feel bad about it being an accident, it wasn't a fucking accident. Like somebody has to calculate the possibility of hurting somebody's feelings, write it off in some mental emotional algorithm like they do for friggin' car recalls. If it's cheaper to pay out for the 11 deaths, they're not going to recall the airbags. You know what I mean? And so if your pain is not worth their apology, then they're not fucking sorry. Because I don't care how little it is. If I didn't mean to do it, I don't care if you're a stranger, especially if I care about you. I'm like, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I absolutely did not expect that to go sideways that way. I tell me how to fix it. What can I am so sorry, and sometimes it needs to sit. Sometimes damage is damage. Sometimes healing takes a hot minute. So, it's accidental or not. But if there's no apology, you're like, oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. It's like, well, because I didn't intend for that to make you feel that way and you feel that way anyway, that's on you. No, the fuck it's not. It's just like, well, because I decided not to turn my blinker on and you decided to step on the gas when there was no car in front of you. Maybe if you didn't step on the gas, I wouldn't have hit you. I mean, does that make any logical sense? Because it doesn't to me, you know? I don't know if you have picked up on it, but I'm not a big fan of the people because sometimes people suck. Sometimes also people are fucking amazing, but you have to go through a lot of shit heels to find that little golden nugget. You know what I mean? So sweet pea, when you hear, I'm sorry, but you know,
I
it's
think
this. Go ahead.
I think for me, it's I'm sorry, I'm not sorry is not changing the behavior. You know, I'm notorious for not writing things down, and it drives me nuts. And I even do it with you, and I hate myself for it. But we'll be in a conversation, you'll say something, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, and then I'll totally forget about it. And I hate that. And you know, not changing that behavior is something that pisses me off about myself because I really am sorry about it. But if I'm not willing to change the behavior, how sorry am I to myself or to the people I'm doing it to? So it's something that I have to work on for myself because to me, it's like if you're really sorry about it, do something about it. So that's what I really thought about, when you said sorry, not sorry. Um, it's, how deeply are you looking at yourself? And then when people do it to me, one of the phrases I hate more than anything is, "Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way."
Right?
I cannot stand that. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? You're sorry I feel that way. Do you not give
How
a
about
damn?
I'm sorry I hurt you?
Yeah,
You
I'm sorry.
know?
Do you not care how you made me feel? Do you not care
Well,
that
I'm
I made
sorry you
you?
took it wrong.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Um, there are, and then there's people that, we're all human. We make mistakes. We do things that we shouldn't do. We say things that we shouldn't say. We, and there's true apologies. And then there are those people that just dismiss it. But this is like about those people that, don't really care how they treat you. It's all about them. It's all about they don't want to feel guilt. So this is their little perfect sentence. I'm sorry. Or they apologize for everything. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You don't even know why you're saying sorry. There's nothing to be sorry about. And it drives me nuts because it's like a band aid for everything they say or do, or everything they think they might say or do. And oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for that. Oh, I'm sorry. What did you do? So there's no depth to something. If they actually did something, you don't even know if they're sorry because, you know, um, what are you sorry for? Because you told me you were sorry that you stepped in my way when I was getting something out of the refrigerator, which is nothing to be sorry for. Or, you dropped something out of a grocery bag. I mean, and this is, you blatantly lied to me about a big financial transaction. Are they the exact same thing? What's your sincerity of I'm sorry?
Well, see, here's the problem with the I'm sorry. They think that I'm sorry fixes things, but you need the accountability. You need to actually take responsibility for what you did before you can acknowledge how it landed, despite what you may or may not have meant. And so many people say, I'm sorry just to be forgiven. Oh, it's all right. Like they didn't do anything and now it's done. Like there's no lingering pain. Like there's no emotional scars. Like their trust wasn't broken. There's one thing to accidentally bump into somebody in the street and say, oh, I'm so sorry. Because that's it happens. Whatever. That's a non-issue. Sorry, I had to bump germs with you, but it's different if somebody if you're running on one car and you have to leave for work in 20 minutes and it's posted everywhere on your joint calendar everywhere else, and somebody decides to run to the store and it takes them 2 hours. And how did you think I was going to, so you're going to pay for my Uber because you're the asshole. And now you have to pick me up in the middle of the night or whatever it is. They're like, well, I didn't know. Yes, you did. It's everywhere. you know if your shit is on the calendar and you don't forget it, and the only thing you don't see on the calendar is my shit, it's a fucking problem. you know and they're like, well, I didn't know. No, you didn't want to know. You turn a blind eye so that you can feign ignorance, so that you can pretend to be innocent when you are absolutely um responsible for your choices. Life does not just happen. It's a series of choices, and inaction is a fucking choice, because choices will end up happening. Things will be removed if you don't proactively make a choice. And then, but you can't sit back and be like, oh, well, I didn't do that. I didn't make that choice. You chose not to act, and this is the result. That's the same shit. It's on you. Take accountability for your inability to make decisions. Take accountability for what you chose to or not to do, to or not to say. I know that I have issues, and I'm very particular about things. So my father's an alcoholic, my brother's an alcoholic, my uncle's an alcoholic. Generations back, it is in my lineage of alcoholism. So I very rarely take a drink of anything. I just don't feel the need, can't be bothered. It's not worth the thing. So when I first met my husband, I was very much, if you're going to drink beer every day, this relationship is over. I can't deal with that, because it can go south real fast, and I just cannot. And so when the first time he bought a full case of beer, it made me nervous, and I eyeballed it every day, every day, every day. I'm just looking at it, looking at it, looking at it. It took him 3 weeks to finish that, and to me, that was still a lot, since he was the only person drinking them. And I was like, it's a bit much. And he's been really good. He really doesn't drink anything, and he hasn't drank anything for years, and he never. That was the fastest he ever did a case. Now I know people that can drink a case a night like it ain't a thing. They pass out in front of the TV and you're good. And he was never that. But for what I needed for my triggers, I put that out there with my hard lines. If he then chose to drink anyway, if he then left the beer there and decided to hit the vodka, if he made these choices, he would have no right at all to be mad if I ended things, because you set boundaries, and people want to test boundaries or push boundaries or be like, well, I didn't know you were going to leave. Yes, you did, because I told you. You chose not to believe me. You chose to think that you were so important that I can't live without you, and I'm going to sit there and diminish myself to make you feel bigger, and make all the things that you do against me not count. But God forbid I forget to buy your favorite brand of fucking toothpaste. All of a sudden I'm hellspawn, because there's always a disparity. When one doesn't take accountability, everything is your fault. Every little thing that you forget or that you overlook, they blow it so far out of proportion, and then they use that as an excuse to leave and go hang out places that you say they can't hang out with, because sometimes people fucking suck. And this is why I have a problem, because to me, and maybe it's because I was raised on the stories, I was raised on afternoon soap operas. Everybody gets into a fight with the love of their life and goes to sleep with somebody else. Everybody goes to get drunk at a party and goes to sleep with somebody else. Everybody wants to sleep with this one and that one and this, that, and the other thing. And from a very young age, we're talking like 6 years old, I couldn't understand why that happens. And so I don't do strange. If I am having an issue with somebody that I love, my first response is not, oh, let me go get some strange. I'm like, oh, my girlfriend or my boyfriend is being a bitch. Let me go and, incite another bitch. I don't understand that concept. And then they're like, well, we were on a break. No, the fuck we weren't. And so I have these long, drawn out conversations because I'm that kind of an idiot. I am the talker, and a lot of people have a problem with how much I talk and how particular I am with things. But when you get screwed your whole life because people want to pretend they don't understand the words coming out of your mouth, you make sure they know what you mean. So I'm like, okay, so we are not doing this. We are not doing that. We are not going out drinking if we get into a fight. If you leave the house, be like, I'm going for a drive, I'm coming right back. We are never staying out overnight, and you're never going to go hang out with another woman. And I swear to God, I don't care where you are. I don't care if it's work. I don't care if you're hanging out here, there, anywhere else. If you buy another girl a drink, you can consider that cheating. I'm done. Because the answer is no. Because if I'm not accepting drinks from strangers without your knowledge, you're not spending our money on some girl's anything. You know, it's different if I'm there and you're buying around for me and my friends, have at it, you know? And I get looked at like, that's not cheating, really? So if I buy, you know, if you buy 3 drinks for a girl at a fancy club and those drinks are running $15, so if I buy a $45 bottle of cologne for some guy, that's not a problem for you. Well, why are you spending money on some guy? Exactly. You know, and people are like, you're too much. Well, okay, go find less. You know? I'm like, then you don't need to be with me. You're not my people. And I love the people in my life. I do. But I will never understand getting into an argument with somebody you claim to love, that you want to spend a life with, and you're just going to go and look for a piece of tail because your butt hurt over something. That's not what love looks like. That's not what love ever looked like. I will just never understand that. And then they're like, yeah, well, you know, it's not my fault that you said you needed a few days apart. That's a few days to not have to deal with you, so that I can gain perspective, so that we can have a conversation when we're calm. Not, I don't want to see you, therefore stick it in every hole you see. That's not the same shit. And people don't want to take accountability. Well, that's on you. You were not clear. Oh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry that I have to spell out in a committed relationship that you're not sticking your wiener in somebody else's anything. My bad. And I can't deal with that. I can't deal with the lies. I can't deal with um, egregious misunderstandings that are so over the top that there's no way you're that stupid, you know? Um, you know, when people do little stupid things that look innocent to everybody else until they know the backstory, and then you look crazy for calling them out for them really not doing anything. Here's the thing. My husband blew himself up a million years ago. So he had pins in his hand holding 4 of his 5 fingers together. He had stitches everywhere. There's a hole blown out of his shoulder. I mean, I'm surprised his arm didn't fucking fall off. He has 5 days post-op. They kicked him out of the hospital. He's like, I have to get my because he does fireworks. I have to get my paperwork for this last set of shows that I got hurt on. I have to get it in. My guys have to get paid. They have to get paid. They have to get paid. So I take him to the office. I'm doing all of his stuff. He doesn't have to do anything, right? And one of the girls that ran trucks for him came in and just kept on touching him, touching his arm. I swear to God, I was gonna beat me a hoe. Now, it's not that she was young or pretty or anything. He was blown to shit, and she is smacking his arm. Can you maybe stay away from the piece of flesh that we're trying to not die and fall off? And so I put myself in between her and my husband, and she's just like, I didn't know. I am so sorry. And I stop. Because what part of you thinks it's okay to touch anybody else's man? Number one. Number two, he's injured. Why then are you going to slap his arm that's in a brace and has pins in it because you think he's funny? Well, I wasn't thinking. No, you're an asshole. And he's too nice. You need to go. And I got looked at like, oh, you're serious? Nah, it is my job to make sure your shit heals. She needs to go, you know? And people are like, well, it wasn't that big a deal to you, you know? I was like, if it is a big deal to somebody, maybe listen to why it's a big deal to somebody. Maybe understand where they're coming from. Maybe take a hot minute to maybe for a second think that there's more to the situation than what you are willing to perceive, because most people have trouble perceiving the parts that make them a bad person or make them feel like crap or make them feel stupid. Well, sorry, you're stupid. Do better. You know, and do I have opinions? Yes. Are we all fallible? Yes. Have I also been an idiot? Also, yes. But the second I realize it, you've all heard me on here. All you guys have heard me personally. I'm like, I am so sorry. That didn't even occur to me. I am an absolute idiot, because wrong is wrong. And it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you stupid. It makes you accountable. And if you are accountable for your choices and your actions, then you still earn the respect of people,
Mm.
you know? And you can't be trusted if you lie. You can't be trusted not to hurt me if you don't take my feelings into consideration. And so then I can't trust myself if I still give a crap about what you do and what you say when you don't take accountability for anything. I'm hard on people, and I'm hard on people because I have to be, because I am fragile. I am sensitive, and I am um unforgiving, and I love with
Delicate
everything.
flower.
I love with everything that I am. So if I love you, it does not go away. It is always, all the time. Even if in the future I don't like you, that place in my heart will always belong to you. Even if I don't want to fucking talk to you, I will still love you, you know? And so I can't love that hard and expect less, because it breaks me. It has broken me. I learned how to be this level of particular anus through a lifetime of excruciating pain, of not holding people to any level of emotional accountability, to letting people down by just existing, and then knowing that sometimes that happens, and it's got to be okay if at least I am honest and it wasn't my intention, and I try to make amends. And if I'm going to try to make amends, I expect other people in my life to try to make amends, and I get that that's asking a lot. But if you feel like being accountable to the people you care about is a lot, then I'm going to call bullshit on how you feel, because nobody makes you look bad. You do that shit to yourself. So, high horse, unmounted. So, raconteur, what are your thoughts on? I'm sorry, but
Um, I mean, it's the but. It's always the but. Um, I think people crave, like you say, absolution slash understanding. They want to be validated. They want to be, you know, the problem I have with the whole situation scenario is more along the lines of, well, it's done, and it's not necessarily a bellwether for this is the way things are going to be, and this is what's going to happen. It's, well, how do we recover? How do we fix it? And it's fine. I feel sorry and whatnot, and now I have to live with that. But does is it, where does that leave us? It's the aftermath of it that's um, the real damage, the real thing that needs to be addressed, rather than the okay, because like people say, deeds speak louder than words. You have to walk the walk and all those other fun things. So it's like I there isn't even a way to kind of express it. You know, when you're in the middle of it, people feel like well, it wasn't intentional. You can absolutely dissect it and make it on paper show logically, well, because of this and because of this it was intentional. But at the same time, the person that did it doesn't necessarily feel that way, and it's hard to quantify because of circumstances and painting with a broad brush and all that other garbage. But go ahead.
well, I was going to say, intention is only part of the equation, because
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm sorry you feel that way. It wasn't my intention. Sounds nice on the surface, but it's very different than I'm sorry I hurt you. How can I fix it? There's an acknowledgement and I'm sorry I hurt you, not deflection. Well, I'm sorry you took it that way. You must think I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? There's a difference, and both of those can fully come with no intent of hurting somebody. But one is accountability and one isn't. And if they're not accountable, if they don't look at you and be like, I see that I hurt you. It hurts me that I hurt you. You know, what can I do? You can fix that. You can work through that. You can talk through that. You can heal through that. But if you hurt somebody and they're sitting there crying at you, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, you cry for everything. What is it now? I can't do anything right. What the hell is that? Or if they're like, well, I see you're in a mood, so I guess I'm the bad guy. What the hell is that? If they're like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Oh, you're so emotional. What the hell is that? All of that makes you small. It makes everything, it deflects, it dismisses, and it makes the trust not be there. Because if you can't trust the people you care about to be a safe place for your feelings, what the fuck is that?
But you're talking about like too. Think of it like me and my
Even
stupid neighbor.
friendships, even workplace relationships.
No. Think of my stupid neighbor. Oh, I'm sorry the smoke bothers you. No, you're not. It's an outright lie. But that's what they're gonna feed you.
Well, that's the same thing. I'm sorry you feel that way. There's zero accountability. Oh, I'm sorry that you're going to die over there in your room. At least I don't have to look at you. They don't care. That's the exact point. Perfect example. They don't care enough to change. They don't care enough about your feelings to make an attempt for anything. Out of sight, out of mind. They don't think they're doing anything wrong because you don't matter to them in their daily life, because they have no respect. I mean, listen, if they're chain smoking like a beast, they have no respect for their own life. How are they supposed to have any respect for yours? And they are shitty ass people who don't know how to take accountability for their own shit. Oh, is it going to be inconvenience to go smoke in the smoking area out in the snow? Well, you don't want to smoke in your apartment because your husband on oxygen might die. Oh, but you're going to sit there and blow the smoke so it goes into my face underneath my door, and if I die, it doesn't matter. She's an asshole. But it's the same thing. I'm sorry you feel that way. Is zero accountability, sucks to suck. And there's a lot of that now because respect has gone out the window. I mean, it's hard to find people that respect themselves. And if you can't respect yourself, how then you can respect anybody else? How then are you going to respect other people's boundaries if you don't keep your own boundaries? How then are you going to gauge anybody if you don't hold yourself accountable to anything? I don't understand these people. But then, that also goes hand in hand with entitlement, which sounds wrong. You know, you would think that entitlement would you would have some sense of self-respect, but it's not self-respect, it's self-aggrandizing bullshit, which is different than narcissistic tendencies, which is different than being a narcissist, because all this shit sounds similar and it's not. But you can look all that shit up on your own. The unfortunate truth is, I'm sorry, but anything that follows that negates the I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you feel some kind of way means that no, you're not. You just feel some kind of way and I'm the bad guy. It doesn't come with disclaimers. Here's the thing. We all do stupid shit. Things get away from us. Sometimes we accidentally hurt people because we don't realize how it comes off, you know? Um, I had to stop a couple of weeks ago. I was on the phone with somebody and he's one of my favorite people. And I stopped short in a conversation. They're like, "You okay?" I said, "Okay, give me a second. I'm trying to figure out if you meant the words as you said them or if you meant something else. Because what you said exactly was A, B, C, D, E, F, G." He's like, "Yes." I was like, "So did you mean it like that?" He's like, "Well, what I meant was," I was like, "Yeah, see, that's totally different." But it has taken me a decade of realizing that he says shit that triggers my defensiveness. And so I take it um, without nuance, you know? So I learned through a lot of pain to stop and be like, before I get pissed the fuck off at this shit, what did you actually mean? You know? And and that's a hard thing for people to do. It's a hard thing for me to do. And I overanalyze everything. So for those of us that are not analytical minded, you take it for what it is, you know? Be like, "Oh, okay, here's the thing." My husband was like, "Yeah, no, you were real cute, you know, when I met you and then we went to the beach, yada yada. No, you were real cute." And I'm like, "Cute? I was cute? The fuck is cute?" You know? Because he's like, "Yeah, well, you were never hot." Well, fuck you too. You know? I was like, "Gee,
Yeah,
thanks."
I would have focused on the were.
Well, we were talking about back in the day, so we were. That's a whole other conversation of comparisons that we do not want to have. And so back when I was at what I thought was my hottest, he was like, "Yeah, you were cute." And in my scale, and every other woman, and correct me if I'm wrong, sweet, that I've ever met, cute is cute. Cute means, you know, adorable. Cute is you know, pretty, but
Puppies are cute.
you know, and then you've got beautiful, which is beautiful but not necessarily sexy. Hot is hot, not necessarily beautiful. You know, here's the thing. He swore, and I didn't find this out for 20 stinking years, that cute for him is better than hot, because hot does not need to be pretty. You can have a really ugly face and still be hot as Hades, you know? Because sexiness has nothing really to do with what you actually look like. But you know, if you're beautiful and you're sexy, he's like, "Yeah, no, that's you're hella cute." The fuck kind of backward shit is that? And if I would have known that when I was 20 freaking years old, things might have gone a little differently. I am just saying, because we all gauge things differently, but we think that we're all using the same thing because we use the same words, but they're completely different descriptions. And for the most part, it's not really a problem. We kind of realize subtleties and nuances as friendships grow. And sometimes they're that 20 fucking years of me not understanding. I was just all the things. He actually sent me a picture. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, and I'm just gonna tell you all my business because I have no shame. So he's like, "Oh my God, I came across this." So see, he liked this one actress. Then he's looking at stuff, and all of a sudden, there's, you know, not actual porn, but pretty racy pictures, not of that actress, but of somebody else. She goes, "This is what you looked like." And I'm looking at this woman. I was like, "You could have fucking told me that. Holy shit, my life would have been completely different," because she was gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. You know, all legs, all long dark hair, all the things, really pretty face, and all the curves. And I'm saying that's what you thought cute was. I was like, "No, we need to work on your definitions." And you know, so I think that guys and girls sometimes speak different language. Okay, listen, sometimes girls and guys, just friendship. Sometimes you say things, you hear different things, your mind's not in everybody. We precision of language, people, it's a thing. But um I think we owe it to the most important relationships in our lives to maybe break some things down, because I know a friend of mine who hella cook. I was like, "Listen, I will buy you the groceries, cook me dinner. I love you," you know, because You know, when you have somebody who loves to cook and they cook really, really well, and you want to eat and you'll do all the dishes, you don't want to have to cook, and you can't cook like that anyway, right? And his wife was like, "Yeah, he does a good job." That's not a good job. That's chef quality. What the hell? I don't know what he did to that fucking sauce, but I swear to God, if I wasn't married, I'd marry him. You know? And I was like, that's not, oh, he does a good job. I was like, because to me, when it comes to your people or people that are in your life, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's friends that become family, it's easy to criticize, it's easy to try to guide, it's easy to want to offer advice. You know what's not so easy? Being honestly positive, being telling somebody they're amazing and meaning it. Because you're not going to find me telling people you are a fabulous human being if you've got questionable morals. You know what I mean? But if I believe in somebody, I will tell them. I was like, and I don't kiss anybody's ass. I'm just like, you just don't know how amazing you are. Thank you for being you. And that is not an easy thing to say with all sincerity, and because it's awkward and it can be uncomfortable. But one of those can erase 10 of the, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, from somebody else, because it weighs different, it hits different. And when it is honest, whether the apology is honest, whether the praise is honest, it matters. Sincerity freaking matters. You can respect truth. You can grow through truth. You can learn through truth. You can never trust a fucking lie, you know? And there is no clean slate. Okay, this is what I don't. Okay, I am on a freaking roll. All right. I can put up with a lot of little shit. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I will make the more I love you, the more excuses I will make. Well, I know that they've gone through this in the past and this might have triggered the thing, and I'll give them a conversation and we can talk about all the stuff when we're calm, and I will give all of the chances if I can believe the reasons, right? Until I can't. So long as it's not an outright lie, so long as it's not an outright lie, because once you can lie to me about small things, I can't trust any of the big things. Because if you're going to lie to me about why you're 10 minutes late, then how am I going to trust that you're going to say you're where you said you're going to be the next time you leave? Because if you're like, oh yeah, I was stuck in traffic, but I just got a text from so-and-so's wife saying, oh yeah, they went out for drinks after work. Don't just think that I know everything, because I will eventually know everything. So you can't undo the lies. It creates a new baseline, and you can only make so many excuses through that before it wears it so thin that you fall through the bottom and there's nothing left to stand on. And then they're like, well, why can't you just forgive me? It's not about forgiveness. It's not about forgiveness. It's not about thinking they're a bad person. It's about our own safety. It's about trying to protect our own emotions, because when we're standing in the penthouse and we fall to the basement, nobody's there to pick us up. We have to heal our own bones. We have to heal our own trust. We have to do what we need to do. And sometimes pieces get left on the floor and we get smaller and smaller and smaller, and we break easier and easier and easier until there's nothing left to break. And they're like, wow, you've changed. You think? And when we remember who we used to be, who we want to be, and who we are, damn it, they're like, I don't know what got into you, and I don't know this, and I don't know that. I don't like this version of who you are. Oh, because I'm not putting up with your bullshit. Oh, my bad. It's a lot. And those are the same people that for the rest of their lives were like, well, she's a bitch. And, she's so unforgiving. No, you're such a fucking liar. I was like, dude, I am not the one who is not going to tell everybody everybody's cheating. I'm not going to tell people you're with me if you're not with me. I'm not going to tell I'm not gonna lie for anybody. In fact, I will. Okay, let me just put this out there. I am so honest that if you tell me you're lying to somebody else, I will think less of you, and I will tell you to your face that I will think less of you. Um, because if you're fine with lying to somebody else, like it's not a thing that you and there's no shame in that, then how do I know you're not lying to me? I've got issues and I'm okay with my issues. They keep me safe. But here's the thing. If nobody asks me anything, depending on who you are to me, I may not outright tell them anything. If they ask me outright, I will not lie for you, you know? But it takes a lot for me to be like, let me tell you this shit that I know. Because a lot of times it's not my place. I mean, I'm not going to let my friends get hurt, and I am full on. You tell them, or I will. But I would like to think people will step up and do the right thing. And this is not me being holier than thou. This is me having a um almost anaphylactic response to untruths. It makes me sick to my stomach. I have a very visceral response to perfidy, you know? And maybe that's just me because I am hard on people. But I also, once you make it to be my people, I don't let you go, you know? So hard to get in, also hard to leave. I am Hotel California. It is what it is. So I have a Bud on the board. And uh okay, so we have Bud to read and we have Rack to read tonight. So which one do you want to read?
I'll take Rack.
Okay. So this is Remission by Budo. And it goes like this. From my first breath, you hated, sneering at the thought of a newborn in your world, stealing your freedoms. When I cried, you would smack to quiet a broken one who only wanted love. You would not share freely. When I lost my front tooth, you snatched it and threw it, telling me to screw off fairy tales. Black and white, you said, no grays. When I wet the bed, you snickered and called me a pisser, all the while guzzling that toxin that made you pass out on the couch, impervious to the world I knew. While I grew, you ignored my certain maturity, never caring of the reading awards, the baseball trophies, and my report cards. I, invisible and unappreciated, I tried so hard to please you, to make you proud of me, only to be served up a plate of rejection, cold and malicious, over and over again. As a teen, I became independent and began living a life without you, breathing for the first time after years of isolation. When I turned 19, I left home. You didn't stop me then, or even try to stay in contact until it was too late, but the deal was already done. Time had struck the last blow. Now, you lay dying, a broken man with broken dreams, who could not love his only loving son. And I wish I could shed a tear, but I can't. I can't pretend to miss what I never had. End poem. All right. It says, and your author notes that it's a fictional story, and I'm glad that it is, but I'm sure it's the story of many people. And here's the thing: this was my biggest fear as a mother, you know, to ever let my kids feel something like this. You know, from my first breath, you hated, stealing your freedoms. Your life is no longer your own from the moment you get pregnant. Everything you do has consequences, and you're responsible for somebody other than yourself. And if it happens young enough before you realize how that's going to change you, there's a lot of resentment that can be harbored, but this is abuse, all of the things. It's almost like, okay, so frontal lobes and whatnot, mid-20s, okay. So the younger the parent, the more likely they are to assimilate being a parent more slowly. You know what I mean? Not that they don't love their kids, not that they can't be a good parent, but that they haven't had a chance to be who they are to then roll over into being that mom. They're still figuring out them, and now they have to figure out them. And what the hell is this little creature that came out with no instructions? It's a lot. And sometimes it's sink or swim. And sometimes people don't get over it. And sometimes people rise to the occasion in stellar ways. And this story breaks my heart because I know these people in several different factions of these people, some that got over it and some that didn't. But I tended to gravitate towards, and it's usually the guys because apparently I've always been that way. I don't make friends with girls easily. And the friends that I have made that I call true friends, I've known my whole life. I kind of keep them with me. They once they're my family, they're my family. But guys are a lot easier. They don't hide things well enough. They're a lot easier to understand. They're a lot easier to see. It's just a lot more um it's just an easier road to traverse. And in high school, I had a thing for the quiet ones, not a thing like I was attracted to, a thing like as much as I say I'm not nurturing, I don't know how to let people sit alone in a room full of people because I have always known what it feels like to be alone in a room full of people. And if I can help that even for a minute, I do. But the first time, especially in adolescence, people feel seen or chosen or acknowledged, something magic happens and um they lighten up a little bit. They are almost willing to believe they're more than what they're taught to believe at home. And it can be this wonderfully cathartic thing, that little seed that they hold on to, even if it takes years to sprout. And I never looked at it that way when I was 14, 15, 16. But in hindsight, that's exactly what that was. I just didn't know how to let people that looked visibly alone or uncomfortable stay alone or uncomfortable. You know, it doesn't take much to make somebody feel included. And I don't know how to make people or allow people to stay feeling lost in their own shadow if I can help it. And so this poem feels like so many people that have passed through my life. And not that I'm some, saint or angel or I helped all these, but I'm sure I didn't make a lick of a difference half the time, except for in those 5 minutes that I took to acknowledge them. But sometimes it lingers. And it's a hard thing when you're supposed to, well, of course your parents are going to say you're beautiful, that, that's their job. And if you don't even get that, which we all kind of think is the bare minimum, it feels like you're nothing because I don't have to tell you you're nothing to treat you like nothing. And when you learn to stop looking for acceptance, affection, or anything at home, you don't expect it from anybody else. And you don't trust it when you find it for the most part. And for being a fictional piece, this has a profound weight to it that feels like absolute truth. And it is an honor to have read that for you. And here's the thing, in this is, if anybody ever apologize, this is an absolute sorry, not sorry. This is, oh, do you feel bad? That's on you, I was like, that's not my fault you suck, and which I have absolutely said in jest to to my friends, because when it's said in love and jest, when you absolutely don't believe it, it's funny as shit. But yeah, I'm the kind of person that always has to follow that up with, I'm kidding, right? Because I don't ever want them to think that that's real. But this was seriously powerful. So, Sweet Pea, your thoughts?
I love the whole gist of this poem where it's I when I lost the front tooth, you snatched it and threw it, telling me to screw off fairy tales. As in, there's never going to be anybody here for you. You're on your own from what is it, 6, 7, you lose your first front tooth. Just accept it, be a man, do what you got to do. And it hardens so much. And you kind of learn right then and there you're already invisible. And you work as a child so hard to, hey, I'm here. And you're not seen. And you keep working and you keep working until, you turn old enough to go, I'm not getting anything here. I'm out of here. And you make something of yourself. And then you realize you have a father that's laying and you don't even have a tear to shed. Not because you're the tough guy, but simply because you don't want to be there. And I can't pretend to miss what I had never had. And that's on him, not on you. And I know how close you were to your father, so I knew this was fictional from the start. But it's a great story because I think it holds true for so many. It's really, really a great write, Budo. Great lesson too.
So before we go to Rack, let's say hello to Hatter. Hey, Hatter.
You hear me?
I
Yeah, we can hear
can.
you.
Let's turn your camera
Oh,
off, though.
okay. How do you do
Let me
that?
see. Where is it? Yeah, I got you. Give me a second. There you go.
There you go, Hatter.
Cool. I think there's another one going on. Okay. What's up, guys?
We are getting comments for Bud's poem, and then we're going to do announcements, and you'll hear all the things.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed Titus's tribute.
You did not. It is Saturday. We will get to that in the announcements, though. So, Sweet Pea, you finished comments.
No, I that's my comment. I just really enjoyed it because it's something that I believe a lot of kids go through and adults go through. It's kind of a give and take, and they take a lot from you and expect a lot at the end, and sometimes it's hard to give back.
You're running comments.
Oh yeah, duh. Oh yeah, Raconteur, your thoughts. Oh my God,
Did she say
fart.
duck?
No.
Did
No.
she say duck?
Yes, I said duck.
Oh my goodness. It's the last line of
Oh, we lost you, Rack. You're coming back, though. Give me a second.
Lost Rack.
Okay, there you are, Rack. Sorry. You said it's the last line?
wow.
Well, you were just in and out all over the place. So I don't know if that is your internet that decided to be all crazy. Rack, are you
Sorry,
back?
bud.
There you are.
I don't know. Am
I
I?
hear ya.
Yeah, I keep getting oops, connection lost.
But you're here now. So you said it's the last line for you?
Yeah, that ties everything into a bow for me. The idea of you can't lose something that you never had. That's the most poignant piece of this. It addresses the disconnect. It addresses the survival instinct. It addresses the reasons why there are no tears. It's because there was no relationship to begin with. Or it was an abusive one. So, it's still an abusive relationship is still a relationship, right? You can't say you weren't in a relationship. Well, it wasn't a loving relationship, but I was there. It's semantics. It's the idea of it, and that's the most poignant. That sums everything up for me. That idea of I just can't bring it in me. I don't have it in me to want to, muster up something that's just, it would be a lie. The circumstances that you describe are, horrible and like Pretty Bird mentioned, and like anyone, it's fairly obvious that has lived through it. dealing with something like this is something that just kind of eats you away in ways that are numbing, and it's through that numbness that you try and learn how to breathe and just survive to begin with, and that's where that thick outer skin comes from and things like that. So this is unfortunately relatable in too many ways, even if you haven't lived it or been through it. Just to glimpse it is to feel it, because it's relatable, and it happens more often than people realize, I think.
Absolutely. And on that note, it is time for announcements, because, I can talk for an hour. It's fine. So, what is coming up on Thursday, my sweet?
On Thursday, we have Dreams, the aftermath of
No, is
slumber.
that Thursday?
That is Thursday, the 25th.
Oh, okay.
You're awake, still feeling the fingerprints of last night's dream on your skin. You can't shake it. All morning, your head wanders, wondering which reality you're living in. When dreams feel so real, they linger.
Yeah, my brain is all over the freaking place. I couldn't tell you what day it is. So we have a special show on Saturday, because we don't usually do shows on Saturdays. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern time. It is for I'm gonna lose my shit. It is for our very own Titus Llewellyn, and for those who have been with us for a while, then his antics and his brilliant words. Unfortunately, he passed away last week, and so we are having uh, a memorial show for him on Saturday. So everybody who he has touched, whether it is in the real world, through his writing, just listening, it is an open call to everyone. We will be posting the link to call in live and say how he touched your life. If you wanted to write him, we're calling it Love Letters for Titus, because he deserves all the love. He was just amazing. So I'm going to read you a little thing that I wrote. It says, everyone's invited to write and read a letter to Titus Llewellyn, Dr. Anthony Smith. He graced us with the beauty of his life's work. He's written volumes of Earth Angels, immortalizing those men and women who touched his heart. If he has touched yours, please join us. Tell your story of the impact he had on you and or your writing. And while most shows are 2 hours long, we're going to start at 8, and we will not stop until everybody has said their goodbyes. So if you feel some kind of way, please do join us. We will be posting the link to call into the studio on YouTube, Facebook, X, in our groups on All Poetry, so everybody has access to be able to share how the beauty of who he was impacted your life. And Sweet Pea Rack and myself gave him a little tribute, just a very personal, we absolutely adore you, Titus. And you can find that anywhere you listen to our stuff. And it is also called Love Letters for Titus. Pretty sweet side piece. And look at me not crying. That's not going to be the case on Saturday. I will be blubbering like an idiot. I am just saying. So, Sea Hatter, you did not miss anything. It's coming up on Saturday. We are going to do all Titus all the time, and he deserves all the love. And then next Tuesday, which is the 30th, is no is a complete sentence, because apparently I'm feeling some kind of way this week, next week, I'm in a mood. It says, though it may not always be the kindest option, no means no. It doesn't mean ask later or ask again in a different way. If you ask me if I want something from the store and I say no, let it stand. If you ask me if I look fat and I say, or if you look fat and I say no, let it stand. While there may be an exception to every rule, no is a complete sentence. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So I do have a poem up on the board. Y'all ready? Am I in here by myself?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay. I'm like, did I lose everybody?
No.
I'm like, oh no. Okay. This is, I'm sorry. This is I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I think I love you even more. Lost in the music of childhood Saturday afternoons, never before realizing the broken soul she purged through the impassioned verse and powerful refrains. The same music offering insight and healing. Songs wailed from the depths of my being, tears burned my tired eyes as I cry, never having realized I lived her pain. I am living it now through my own wounds, wounds I borrowed from her broken heart. End poem.
Oh, wow. As I cried, never having realized I lived her pain, wounds from her broken heart. It's gorgeous. There's something in there that I think we all carry, and we don't always know this. That we sometimes get passed on the things from our moms, and we don't realize it. That her pain, the way she raises us, the way they talk to us, the way they just simply sometimes wash the dishes or accept things from the world, that we learn that from them, and it becomes part of us. And I really understand and can feel very deeply, never realizing I lived her pain, wounds I borrowed from her broken heart. I truly feel those words. This is very deep, and I gotta say, I can't say that I enjoyed it as much as I felt it. Your work sometimes is enjoyable as a poet and hits personal as a person. So, Rack, your thoughts?
This makes me think of you know the unintentional learned behaviors from being around people sometimes. You know, the examples of what you want to be as opposed to what you don't want to be, and the things that you pick up on in your surroundings and your environment. So yeah, it's tough to see, and it's not easy to realize that that the same things that affect the people that you love and care about are reflected in your reactions also, even if you don't realize that you're picking up on those emotions, and you're kind of feeding off of them, and reflecting them in your own growth and life. So yeah, this is very impactful and very touching.
Thank you. Hat, are you still with us? I mean, he looks like he's there, but I don't hear anything.
I don't either.
Don't know if you're muted, Hatter, but we can't hear you, just so that you know. So, yeah, so my mom on Sundays, okay, so my house was a big old mess of shit. At like 6 o'clock in the morning, my father would start with his freaking Hank Williams and Patsy Cline as loud as all get out, right? So you've got the crazy over here. And then across the house, my mom's got, salsa music or her old love songs, her heart-wrenching old Spanish love songs. And, you grow up with these things, and so you end up loving them too. But it isn't until my mother passed and I happened to hear one of the songs in rotation, because YouTube does some sinister shit, let me just tell you what. And so it played one of these songs from like when I was a kid, And I'm listening to the words of the song, and I'm remembering all the times she's just sitting there cooking or doing and just being quiet. And I take after my mom, so not really a quiet bunch in my house. So she'd be sitting there quiet, and I'm sitting there going, these lyrics are heartbreaking. Okay, I don't know if that's a TV or what's going on. Yeah, that sounds like a TV.
Yeah, so we're gonna mute him.
And so when you realize that, yeah, but it's not even showing me who that is.
Gotta be Heather.
Nope.
You hang up on Heather?
It's not Hatter. So
Oh, it ain't me.
It ain't me.
yeah, that's driving me nuts. We got to figure out what that is. Yeah, not Hatter. Not Rack. I do believe it's you.
Who?
You?
No, I'm not anywhere near a TV.
Watch.
Nowhere.
I'm gonna mute it. No. So what is that?
Look at the music that's playing. I bet you it's a recording, a commercial for.
No, there's no music on. Nothing is doing anything. So let me. Oh, okay. Well, I went ahead and I put Hatter in the green room and he got disconnected. So maybe it was him, but I turned his entire speaker and everything off. It wasn't reading anything. Oh, studio glitches. Anywho, it wasn't until after she died that I'm sitting there going, this song is breaking my whole entire heart. And this is what I grew up with. And how sad do you have to be? Because I do it now. I will listen to a song. Doesn't have to be a sad song, but sometimes I'm in a mood, and over and over and over and over, I will play it, driving everybody in my house nuts. And it is something that I got from my mom, but the mood that I have to be in to do that, I'm sure is similar to the mood she was probably in when she did that. And it's half my childhood, and my heart broke when I realized that that's how she processed pain. And I missed the whole fucking thing because I didn't even understand it until I recognized it in myself. And that didn't happen until after she died. And I feel like I missed this entire part of who she was, like, inherently, you know what I mean? And also kindred in all the weirdest ways. So there's that. But I do have you on the board, sweet. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. This is called Bitter Love by Sweet Pea. Battle rage of deprecations of the head. Old-faced lies grow into deadly rose gardens, hugged by nightshade's grace and grandiose gestures of false expressions of love. Hate spawns in premortal gelatinous goo, redacting her feminine gentleness, leaving the scars of revenge to brew. Forgiveness forges falsehoods of security as wounds from his Italian sweep into her. Pretentious believers scream saviors that never come. Optimus Opus sings ghost notes of melodies of happiness, where when she emotionally dies within her walls, inside the mask hides all the tears she cries. And poem.
And here's exactly what it was we were talking about And by we, I mean me, because let's face it, I talk for like an hour just straight out my anus. But this is perfect. Forgiveness forges falsehoods of security. That is the exact thing, right? Because you want to believe in the best of people. You want to believe that the people that we love are still the people we fell in love with. And I don't care if that is friend. Okay, listen, it's a universal love. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic because I love my friends. There are people that are just family. And they matter. And sometimes it's those relationships that aren't romantic that we feel safest in, the ones that we lean on when we're having issues, the ones that envelop us in an unwavering belief in us, or that how they see us is what we hold on to with all that we are, so that we have something to believe in ourselves when somebody else's um heartlessness strips it away. But we want to believe the best in people. And so you're like, okay. And I go back to how I make the excuses. Well, they were having a bad day, or they were having a moment, or they didn't mean it that way, or I don't think it was meant to be as sharp a tongue as it landed. Maybe I'm also having a day, so maybe I just didn't take it right. All of these things that we step over to get to the good, to believe the good, to believe the gentle and the kind and the thoughtful. And when we do, the blades come out again. And then you're sitting there, dying within, because nothing really changed. Nothing changes. It's we forgive and it weighs on us, and we forgive and it weighs on us, and we hope and we hope and we hope, but it doesn't allow us to heal, because the truth is that sorry, not sorry isn't sorry at all. That sorry that you're bleeding out on my plated tongue, my bad, you know, leaves you going, no, it's fine. No, I'm good. No, I am not weak. I am not weak. I am not weak, because it feels like we are the ones who failed. I'm not fisting my table. It's fine. And apparently I feel some kind of way. And 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 it's true. We want to internalize all the things. What did I do to deserve this? How can I make this better? Why is it always us? Why is it the ones that are hurt that have to fix it? Why is it the ones that that want to be hopeful have to make the excuses? Why aren't the ones that do the damage the ones that are feeling bad? Why are they the ones that are making amends? Why aren't they groveling on their knees, begging us to forgive them for whatever kind of stupidity fell out of their face or the choices they made? Why can't they just mean that they are sorry? And that's the difference between taking accountability and not, because if they meant it, and they act like they meant it. They don't just say that they don't just say the words. It's not just lip service. If they can make us believe that they mean it, if they try, even if they backslide a bit, if they try, honestly try, not pretend it didn't happen like it's a clean slate, then maybe it'll heal into a scar that is thick enough to stand on and you're back on solid ground. But those falsehoods of security are not a safety net. They are clouds that look like they could be solid, but it's just empty air. And it's heartbreaking. So, Raconteur, your thoughts?
Yeah, this makes me think of a different poem that I should have given you for tonight. Oh yeah.
There's plenty of time for me to grab it if you want to tell me what it is.
Forget about forgiving.
Okay.
But yeah, the idea of this, it makes me think of two things. The sincerity of people, that there's people that are genuinely sorry, and then there's other people that want to give you, the lip service and say this, that they're sorry, but they don't really, it's disingenuous. They don't mean it. They just want to move on and pretend that everything is okay. And then there's they're playing on the fact that you've got a good heart and you want to believe what they're saying. That expression, I love that from the minute I saw it way back in, I guess it was the 80s with the X-Files. That was the tagline. It's I want to believe. And people latch onto that. If they know that they can convince you of anything, if they know that you're going to believe, whatever lie you feed them, then they're going to take advantage of that. And I don't know that that's a universal truth, but that's just how it feels sometimes. It's like, yeah, I could say whatever I want because she's going to believe me. And you know, it's unfortunate again because as a kind and loving person, you're accepting of that. You're like doing the right thing, and that how can I be mad? Not so much blaming yourself, but just like well, we're only human. Things happen, and then you get shit on for it, and that's just horrible. I mean, unfortunately relatable again, but the way things seem to play out sometimes, it's just yeah, it's painful and it's visceral, and I get you.
So you are up, Rack. Do you want sorry or do you want the other one?
I think after that the other one's better.
Okay.
The
Because, we're catering to your shit.
sorry.
You're fine.
All about you now.
Oh, my goodness. All right, Sweet Pea, whenever you're ready to read them.
Okay, let me paste him on the board.
He's on the board.
No, he's on the private chat. I'm putting him on the other board.
He's on the board. Refresh.
That board, yes. I'm putting him on Restream. I got it. Forget about forgetting.
He's on Restream. I got it covered.
Putting him on private chat and Restream. Okay, I'm crazy. It's good. Forgiveness is a myth. When our transgressions are like zombies, they refuse to die, living like spectrums amid the shadows of memories, yet ever present although unseen. Drinking in those moments we shared, intoxicated by the fermented truth, heedless of the inevitable hangover, threatening to decimate all that remains, setting sail over choppy seas, trying to weather the journey ahead, uncertain if the life raft is seaworthy, or that the anchor will only ensure that we drown. Eventually, the salt water collecting the foundation turns to rust, slowly eating away what I once believed to be unshakable, causing the collapse of everything around me, leaving me to piece together what I cared about. Derelict in the rubble of the aftermath. End poem.
I remember this one. I mean, it's going to be some shit when it starts. Well, forgiveness is a myth. I call bullshit. And here's the thing. When our transgressions are like zombies that refuse to die, like living specters amid the shadows of memories ever present, although unseen. And here's the thing. Because I could want to forgive you, but it has to be earned. It's not an automatic clean slate. If there isn't actions that follow, if you're like, well, okay, and then they're going to do the same shit or act like it didn't matter, or then treat you like you don't have the right to still feel some kind of way because you said you forgive me, asshole,
You still did it.
I'm like, it takes time to heal. So I can choose to forgive you, but you have to allow room for me to heal. And it's not a straight line. It's sideways. It's choppy. It's messy. It leaks blood on everything. It's going to feel some kind of way for a while. And if you did the damage, you don't get to feel put out by my slow healing. If you did it and I keep on popping stitches because you keep on making me do all the emotional heavy lifting, maybe don't do that. Maybe baby the stitches. Maybe do everything to prove to me that you're not a liar when you said that you apologize. And it ebbs and flows in both direction, and it is taxing. It is exhausting. How many times can you apologize for the same thing? One time. Apologize one time and then act like you mean it forever. You know? I don't need you to say I'm sorry after you said I'm sorry. I need you to act like you're sorry. You know? I need you to actually be sorry. But if I don't feel like you mean it, if you make me feel small after I said, okay, I'm going to choose to forgive you. I just need you to give me time to heal. And then you make me feel bad because I still feel some kind of way. That's not healing. That's how it lingers, you know? And then you sit there on both sides of that because it sucks on both sides. If you're not 100% deliberately malicious, it sucks on both sides, you know, because you want to be forgiven and you don't know what else to do. And I'm just like, oh, sweetie, it's called emotional, restitution or retribution or both or whatever, where if you're going to steal my trust, you're going to have to pay me back tenfold over time. And if you miss a payment, we start back at the beginning like you paid nothing. And that's just what healing looks like, you know? So
You
it's
learned that from American Express, didn't you?
no. But it's true. And people think it's a one and done. I said, I'm sorry. I did, what more do you want me to do? But, all the things. I want you to do everything now until forever. Amen. You know, because here's the thing. If you are choosing to share a life with somebody and you make that vow forever, then if it takes for fucking ever, make it up to me for fucking ever. That's what you signed up for. It's
Yeah.
not, a moment, you know? Drives me fucking nuts. But when you were drinking in those memories, and then I love this, intoxicated by the fermented truth. And here's the thing, because as we know, all the intoxicating things that we imbibe are fermented. But vodka starts as potatoes, and that's my favorite of all the starches, and the potatoes and the corn and all of the things that make all of the things start off healthy, and then they rot, and then you feel some kind of way, and if you stay in that moment, eventually it'll poison you to death. And it's a hard place to be because that can be a very fast transition. It can be a very slow transition, and that transition doesn't necessarily change that baseline of affection. So it's a hot mess of shit, because to me, no part of love is hate. Okay. But that to me is very different than I love you. I don't like what you did. I love you. I cannot look at you right now. Give me a minute to settle into my pain. Give me the opportunity to try and love you through whatever this is. But I'm going to need a hot minute. It's different than I love you, but I hate you right now, because no part of love is hate. That hate is pain. It is anger. It is fear. It is disappointment. It is still love, because love is messy as shit, And I wish it wasn't. I wish it was as honest as pain, but it's not. It overlaps every other emotion, pain and sadness and joy and anger and all of the things. It is messy. And at what point do you give up? When there's nothing left to build on, when your tears turn that rock foundation into silt, and then it's mudslides of nothing left to stand on. Do you let it go before you break, or do you get completely broken and it disintegrates anyway? It is a hard place to be at the end of the promise of a lifetime, So lovely. Good choice. So, Sweet Pea, your thoughts?
I really like this because I think the setting sails over choppy seas, trying to weather the journey ahead, uncertain if the life raft. I think that those two, you're wondering, if there is forgiveness, what's going to happen? Is it going to be, something I can battle through, and everything's going to eventually come out, barring everything, kind of like Pretty Bird said, if I forgive you, if I can heal, the scars are there. Or if I do, are you going to completely drown me again? Are you going to take me down that road, and I'm just not going to make it through? Um, and those two sentences right there is really forgetting about forgiving is right in those. Um, that world for me. And I just, they're over and over and over again because it's worked both ways for me. I've been burned and things have worked out. But I don't understand why, any of us should be, they say forgiving is for yourself and not for them. And I sometimes wonder about that because I don't know. Sorry, Buddha just made me giggle. And I'll let you know about that. He said that he wanted to hug you over this poem, and I told him that if he's going to hug you, to beware that you tend to feel people up with your hands so that you can see them. And he just said, "Oh, great, I'll be pregnant again. So be careful."
I kind of want to know how you got pregnant the first time.
Well, that's Buddha's secret.
It's a pregnant pause.
OMG.
Oh,
He's like, same deal. Love him.
same deal. Oh, but yeah, it's a powerful piece, right?
I'm easy, sleazy.
Oh my God.
Pluto, you crack me up. Hey, listen. I don't know if you noticed, but you're in the right place, my dear. You're in the right place.
Yes, please be as easy and sleazy as you need to be. Oh, that's fabulous. But yeah, this
Sleazy
is
was
how
the eighth. Sleazy was the eighth dwarf.
OMG.
sleazy was the eighth dwarf. Yeah, that's why Snow White never came out of the cabin. Okay.
OMG. You know, my innocent self.
Oh.
So when we were doing the proper naughty show, and it was all, well, let's write naughty about characters. Just be careful what you look up, guys, because there is all kinds of
Oh, I
cartoon
know.
character things out there. Laura, oh, speaking of which, has nothing to do with that, but it reminds me of, I'm sure I've told this story before. Are you ready? I was, me and my friend were hanging out at my priest's house because my priest used to be a DJ and he's kind of freaking awesome. And so we were over there, and he's like, "You're good with computers. I need you I need new signs for our parking lot, no parking, and this, and the other thing, but make them very churchy. I want the crosses, I want the thing, I need them to be all religious." And I'm just like, okay. So I'm looking up. All of a sudden, you hear all these pop-ups, right? Because he didn't have any pop-up filters on his shit. And there is big black booty porn. And I'm dying of laughter. I can't shut it off. They're opening faster than I can close them. I can't stop laughing. My friend is like, shh. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, oh Lord, not in the house of God. And so I'm trying to close all the things, and I get them closed, and I'm like, oh no. And I, to this day, I cannot remember if I cleared his history. But if that thing ever got audited by the archdiocese, he'd be in trouble. I was looking up, weird things about, crosses and parking and whatever. And Oh, we do not want to know what kind of religious porn is out there because I done found it on accident. My bad. But oh yeah, all the things, all the things. You know, I love my priest. It's okay. I'm sure he'd forgive me. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to hell. It's fine. Okay, I'll be in good company at least. Whatever. Okay. So on the board, I have if it can be improved, it isn't perfect. Sorry for pointing that out. By me, Pretty Bird. And it goes like this: imperfect and cast aside for seeing flaws in fluid theory where imperfection is innate, dooming everyone to failure. But they're welcome anyway. There was no defiance, no breaking of rules. Noticing flaws in the flawless came with too high a price. Too angelic for hell, too not human enough for redemption. Pearly gates under deadbolts. Lifetimes spent dragged through the mire, my crusted wings could no longer cut air, so I freed myself of the dead weight, lost on my own 2 feet. Sentenced to walk among sinners, knowing all they have to do is ask and they hold the key. Yet there is no forgiveness, lost in the misperception of doubt. End poem.
God, I love this. Too angelic for hell, not human enough for redemption, and the pearly gates are under deadbolt. Well, damn if that doesn't describe a couple people I know, to include myself. So I freed myself of the dead weight, lost on my own 2 feet. There is so much that is tongue in cheek and yet so very real. Sentenced to walk among sinners, knowing all they have to do is ask, they hold the key. Yet there is no forgiveness, lost in the misperception of doubt. Because the fallen angel is never forgiven. He's the one that started hell. And we all are all imperfect. But who's the one making us imperfect? Us or others? Or it's so very, you got to think of those that don't fit the mold, those that are, quote, normal, but what is normal? We can improve and we can get better, or we can't. We can be forgiven or not forgiven. There's just so much to dive into in almost every line here. But I absolutely love that stanza. And pearly gates under deadbolt. That's fabulous. So where do I go? I guess I'll just stay here and walk among the sinners, because that's where I belong. Excellent, right, Pretty Bird? Ragintori, your thoughts?
Oh my goodness. That last line sums everything up beautifully. That doubt is a killer. To me that goes back to that other thing that I keep quoting. Is I want to believe. If you can't believe in something, then there's no foundation. There's no basis of anything to hang on to. It's all smoke, and you can't go on like that. You really can't. The imagery in this is stunning. The cutting off your wings. I mean, I imagine that there's a graphic in there of an angel with no wings or ripped off wings. And if there isn't, there is in my head. So there it is. The idea of this though, the whole basis, the whole foundation for any kind of working relationship between two people, whether it's any kind of relationship, is that trust. Is that trust, that lack of doubt, the belief in somebody, and again, even just the belief in somebody is enough to strengthen some situations and cement them and add clarity to them. Give them more substance, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It just makes things that much more solid. I don't know. But there's a lot of emotion and feeling in this that you know kind of got to wade through.
I've got sweet pea.
Yes.
You know, not to be a pain in my ass or your ass or anybody else's ass, but Titus has a poem called White Lies.
Ooh. Yes, please.
Okay, you're already on the board, so I will put him
Okay.
up after you.
Okay. This is called Before God and Man. Glass shattered mirrors leave shards of life behind. Reflections of ugly tears stream down a dying face. Evaporates into a large rage of blistering hate. Flames of amber flicker through the fabric of time, leaving scars of hope burned on the hands of time. The echo of laughter mocks a life of happiness. Safety was a charade in the arms of the charlatan. When love goes wrong in the hands of another. I need the warmth of your breath to melt the chill creeping into the cracks of my skeleton. Pleading for a second chance, my knees bruised, my self-esteem impotent. I continue my self-torture, playing mother and martyr, victim and fool. With malice in my veins, I tried to pretend there was love in the end, a fairy tale lie. As you before God and man, you made me invisible. End poem.
And that goes back to the being invisible in a room full of people. And it's the worst feeling. If y'all haven't felt it, I don't wish that you do. Because it's different than being in a giant crowd of people you don't know, because who gives a crap? But when you're in a room full of people that are supposed to love you, and you are overlooked, you are dismissed, you are forgotten, and they don't even notice, especially if you're the one that notices everything, fixes everything, gets everything done behind the scenes quietly, because you're not, oh, look, I did the dishes, because you just do the dishes because dishes need doing, because, grown up. It's a hard place to be. And then you end up with malice in your veins, you know, trying to pretend that it was real, that it had to have been real, that if it wasn't real, I wouldn't have been in this mess in the first place. And how could I believed all of that if it was untrue? But it didn't feel untrue. And either I can't trust me, or I choose to trust me, meaning that if I can trust me even a little bit after all of this, then it had to be real. But then if it was real, what did I do to make it not real? What did I do to let them know that it's okay? Because we don't ever say, you did it, you're malicious. It's, we must have brought this on. And even if we don't believe that logically, emotions are irrational, you know? Hence I need the warmth of your breath to melt the chill creeping into the cracks of my skeleton, even though they're the ones who broke the bones to begin with. It's a hard place to be, because love and pain are not mutually exclusive. If it was, nobody would stay with anybody that physically abuses them, mentally abuses them, emotionally abuses them. If you make me cry, I'm leaving. And here's the thing. Because we are fallible, because we are human, we understand mistakes. We understand imperfections. We can forgive an awful lot if you can make us believe it's true, you know? But sometimes enough is enough, and you can't delude yourself into thinking that, once okay, twice okay, however many years okay. And then you sit back, you shake it off like a wet dog. You're like, wait a second. This is a lot on the side of bullshit, and not so much on the side of trust. And then you're just like, oh, well, all right, then you just turned me into an asshole. Fuck you. Because you get to that point where you hate yourself enough that you feel bad enough that you don't want to feel that anymore. And you may not be able to control how you feel about somebody else the way we would like to. That's why it usually gets the better of us. But at some point, we can control how we choose to see ourselves. And it takes a lot to get to that change if it's something that's a change for the better. Changes that are not necessarily for the better, when we feel small, that's a slow drip of erosion. But, enough pain, and we're just like, fuck this. But it takes a lot to get there. There's a lot of poems tonight that are just seriously just mired in all the bullshit of life. God awful. So sorry. Boy, do I know how to pick them. So, Raconteur, your thoughts?
Yeah, the idea of this of almost being made to feel the fool because you believed and what you held to your heart and um reevaluated, being made to feel like what was once cherished is now uh, tearing you apart, um, is is what I get from this. So that the idea of investing in something and then having the rug yanked out from under you, it's just, yeah, it's just ouch.
Absolutely. So I
Thanks,
have
Val.
Titus up, and this is from June of 2013. So it is 13 years ago, and this is a Paolo Kamatatu sonnet. It is a lot of math, and there ain't no way in hell. so so it's a sonnet that's not like a regular sonnet, just so that you know. This is White Lies by Titus Llewellyn. And I say no way in hell because there's a whole grid chart of how the hell to write this thing on here. And the answer is not today, Titus, not today. And so this is White Lies by Titus Llewellyn. And it goes like this. An excuse is made when you're embarrassed. Lies show how they exhort out truth when willing knows there stands aloof wrongly as the other known proof. You then persuade yourself, again harassed by lies, to make things not quite right, though nearly did you think you might make kindly truth with keenly sight. So how slow, responsive time is when it ties in things which weren't unnoticed then, where truths at all go to guess if when should someone have suspect. Amen. And were there more excuses than the tries at making matters better with white lies? And I love that because that amen came with the exclamation point, and he will always be Tony the Tiger. But and all these things which weren't unnoticed, where truths that all go to guess if when should someone have suspect. And here's the thing. I don't do rainbow lies, multicolored lies. There are no white or gray or what. It's a lie. It's a lie to make you fucking feel better. It doesn't make me feel better that you're lying to me, because when I find out that you're lying to me, it's gonna be bigger than it would have been if you would have just told me the fucking truth. You know? People are like when I mentioned earlier. Oh, everything's going full circle tonight. Okay. When I mentioned earlier, I was stuck in traffic just to find out you were having a drink with your best friend. Tell me you're having a fucking drink. I'll hold it. I don't give a shit. But don't lie to me, because that's, I was like, well, I didn't want to hear any shit in case you were in a mood. So you're choosing to be an asshole. That doesn't make it better, Or the whitest of white lies. Do I look fat? I mean, sometimes the answer is you are fat. Don't say that to people. It's not okay. So, you say another truth. You are beautiful. Fat has nothing to do with that. I was like, I think you look amazing, because if I think you look amazing, again, your size has nothing to do with that. It is still true. It is still honest. It is not a lie. But if somebody says, do I look fat? Oh, sweetie, you're a supermodel. Oh, bullshit. Okay. I'm like, rein it in, Casanova, because I know that is not charming. I'm not stupid. Shut the fuck up, you know? It's like, I don't need you to tell me what, oh, this is a big one. Oh, here it is. Ready? Insights forthcoming. I don't ever need anybody, ever, not once, ever, to tell me what they think I want to hear. I don't care what you think I want to hear. You're probably wrong. I I want to hear whatever the answer is to the question that I asked, in all honesty, good or bad. That doesn't mean be mean. It doesn't mean soften things. It means just answer the question on its face. Don't sit there and tell me bullshit, you know? If I am asking you, do you like my shoes? Because if I buy a pair of fuck me heels and I think they're sexy, but the guy is going to use them as handles doesn't, I'm not wearing those fuck me heels because they're not going to lead to the actual deed. You know what I mean?
Nice
So
shoes.
listen, sometimes all it takes is a good strappy sandal or a good platform stiletto, or for me it's my red with white polka dot slingbacks, because there's something 1950s and Minnie Mouse about them that does some kind of weird magic, because it is what it is. And so, you know, but if they don't work, then okay. I let one of my nieces wear one of my 5-inch patent leather wingtips for her Alice in Wonderland um, Halloween costume when she went trick or treating with my kids and us, when she was staying with us when she was 18, and my husband was like, "They're hers now and forever. I can never look at them again." Yeah. And I was like, well, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have let her wear them, because I love those fucking shoes, but fine. But that's what honesty looks like. I mean, had he not been open about that and just been like, oh, all right, maybe I'll just take these off, it would, why lie? Why fucking lie? It doesn't save anybody's anything. And this is going to lead back to me going, this is why Prince Charming is fucking Dracula. This is why lies lead to you being bloodless, lifeless in a ditch somewhere, because they're charming. They tell you all these things that that they think you want to hear. All these things that historically speaking, women are, and I'm finger quoting, supposed to want to hear. Oh, you're beautiful. Your eyes reflect the stars. All the romantic bullshit that is only believable when you're actually in love, and sounds like you're an asshole if I just met you. You know what I mean? But when you haven't heard it, when it's the first time somebody's telling you your lips look delicious and they want to sit there and taste them, it is what it is. And it feels like crap sometimes when people are giving you lip service when all you wanted was a conversation, you know? It's just crazy to me. So I'm having a hard time saying, so what are your thoughts on Titus? Because, all right.
Titus. First of all, I love the fact we end the show with him. I love the fact that he can absolutely tell everyone the truth of a white lie. And, he always has a lesson in his poetry. It's just so great and wonderful. And that sonnet, I will never try. I just, wow.
So much math.
Crazy mathematics. I'm like, wow. Unbelievable. But and there were more excuses were there more excuses than the tries at making matters better with white lies. It's like, the truth never changes and lies do. So the next time I ask you a question and you change it, what the hell? Why? You got to keep track. You got to lie to keep up the lie, to keep up the lie, to keep up the lie. And you're in a never ending story. And I've never understood that.
Yes. Honesty is for the lazy. I am honest. I am also lazy. I don't want to have to remember any bullshit. The truth just never changes. You're good. You know?
Yeah.
You're running comments.
Rack, your thoughts. All right, I got lost in Titus. I'm sorry. Just got lost in it.
I mean,
I feel that.
yeah. Like you say, a lie is still a lie, and you know it erodes at the foundation of things, and you know he expresses that. Um, I love to kind of try and dissect and pick apart the things that he does, but there's always a depth to them that I could never get to, and it's always the more I want to look, the deeper it wants to go. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you dug that up.
Probably gonna dig up a whole lot of Titus. 'Cause-
Oh, that's unfortunate. I'm
we
sorry,
will
Titus.
forever be off color. It is fine. OMG. So, what's going on Thursday, Sweet Pea?
On Thursday, let's see, what do we have going on? We have dreams. When dreams, I should have that in front of me, shouldn't I? Dreams of slumber. So, fingerprints of last night's dream on your skin. You can't shake it. All morning, your head wanders, wondering which reality you're living in. When dreams feel so real, they linger. I hate that feeling.
Absolutely. And then we have a special Love Letters for Titus on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So please remember that it's at 8 o'clock because we usually go on at 10. And it is all Titus all the time. So come say goodbye. Come write him a love letter. Tell him you love him. Tell us all how much he impacted who you are and what you do, because he had this way of quietly sneaking in and just touching people more deeply than I think he thought fathomable. And I hope that on some level he understood how he affected people. And that is on Saturday. And you can listen live to all our shows, but especially on Saturday. You can listen live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just type in Pretty Sweet, PRTTYSWEET, one word. Click on the red shoes. You will find all of our things. We will be posting the actual studio link to Call In Live, which we usually save for our all poetry group. So for the people that actually provide the poetry to call in, but this will be an open call to everybody. I'll be posting that link everywhere. So whether you knew him in real life, whether you knew him through his poetry, whatever the situation is, you are welcome to call and join us and tell us your thoughts on Titus. Because well, it's Titus. And also, I am aware that I spelled in memoriam wrong, and it's driving me nuts, but I'm also not in a mental place to want to fix that shit. It is driving me fucking crazy. I understand that it's there. Nobody's called it to my attention, but I can't stop looking at it. So my apologies, Titus, that under your name it is spelled wrong. But it is what it is. I'm grieving for Pete's sake. It's fine. So that is on Saturday. On next Tuesday, it is No as a complete sentence. And I mean, it's not necessarily kind, but it is what it is. Because here's the thing. It is it doesn't mean ask me later, ask again a different way, ask nice, give me a few minutes to change my mind. No, that's manipulation and pressure and all the things. And unfortunately, it also fucking works because sometimes it's just fine, just shut the hell up. Don't do that. That is if we're talking sex, that's not fucking consent, that's manipulation. Get over your shit. But for anything else, if you're like, hey, I'm headed to the store, you want anything? And I say no, don't then walk across the house, look at my, are you sure you don't want it? No, I just fucking go already. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm not opposed to a text before you leave. One last chance. I'm like, no, we're good, But if you're going to ask me, you know, and again, it goes back to the if you look fat, and I say no, then just let it be a no. Be like, well, what do don't ask me 16 follow-up questions. Just ask me the real question you want to answer if you didn't want that answer. I don't have time to play your games, you know? Just no means no. Let it be. It's okay. It just like, not for nothing. The problem that I have with no as a complete sentence isn't that it's rude, even though it kind of is. It's that if I'm sitting there and I'm busy and you ask me a yes or no question and I give you a yes or no answer, I don't need you. Are you mad at me? No. I answered your fucking question. I'm in the middle of shit. Go away. I'm mad
And
now.
you said no again.
I'm like, geez Louise. So that's coming up on Tuesday. So all the heated conversation, because I do it to my damn self, but whatever. So that is what is coming up. Now you can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the places. And our archives are at prettysweet.podbean.com, where you can listen to every single show we've ever done as Pretty Sweet Distractions and all the side pieces. So check us out, fall down the rabbit hole of all of our distractions. Like, follow, share, leave your opinion on our opinions, click all the hearts and show us some love. We could really use a lot of love because there is a hole that is going to be slow to get used to. And I need hugs. I need all the hugs because I'm heartbroken and Sweet Pea's heartbroken. And I don't know if you noticed a few minutes ago, but Rack's kind of heartbroken. It's a thing. I will take all the love. Give us all the hearts. And I'm not demanding. It's fine. Yes. So we had a fabulous time. Thank you, Bud, for showing up. Thank you, Hatter. I'm sorry everything glitched out. So we had a fabulous, fabulous time. And we hope that you did too. However, if you didn't, if you did not, you can fuck all the way off.
Fuck
all the fucking way off, please and thank you. If you're our people, then of course you can stay and hang out because we love you. All right. Good night,